understand why people would get disappointed with Paris, because when I first moved to Paris, I was really disappointed by this city as well. The thing about Paris is that it can be rough, not very safe at times. It is a Thursday morning and I'm on my way to the first stop of the day, which is gonna be Apple Store because I forgot my phone charger. So I decided to come to Paris for my birthday. My birthday is tomorrow. I got a quick change of plans. First stop of the day is not gonna be Apple Store. First stop of the day is gonna be coffee. Tell me what's better. Hot summer day, Paris, and coffee. So as I said, tomorrow is my birthday, so I do have plans. I'm gonna celebrate with my friends. I still have quite a few friends living here in Paris. I don't know, for some reason a lot of people that I know ended up in Paris. For some reason, it's like the biggest city in Europe and also a pretty good one, but anyways. But today I am planning to spend a day by myself with you, with my camera. So I'm just gonna be talking to myself all day. Fun times. That is like my idea of fun, to be honest. So I'm done drinking my coffee and now I just have to find a garbage can, and after that I don't even know. The word is my oyster today. As I've already mentioned 5 times in this video, I literally have no plans, and that was the purpose of today. Having no plan was the plan, because when you think about it, how often does it happen in life, right? That I like intentionally wanted to vlog with Eiffel Tower in the background. Where is it even? It's so small I can't see. Anyways, how often does it actually happen in life that you give yourself a day off when you're kind of forced not to do anything? Excuse me, can I borrow the chair? Thanks. So as I was sitting there and really enjoying myself, I thought about how ironic it is that every time I visit Paris now, I really love it here. And you would never think that I actually didn't like Paris that much when I lived here. Definition of what you shouldn't do in Paris: you shouldn't leave your camera unattended. Also, you should not leave your bag unattended. And of course that doesn't mean that there are no good sides of living here, but overall, out of all the places that I've got a chance to live in, Paris was probably the most disappointing. Every time I leave my camera like this, my heart is literally beating. I just realized I can see Arc de Triomphe from here, and the new part of Paris. Let me show you. Right there in the distance we have Arc de Triomphe and all the modern buildings. So that's like the financial center of Paris. If you didn't know, Paris also has like a modern part of the city with skyscrapers. It's just not very like visible when you are in the center. As you can see, it's a bit outside of the main historical center. And the thing about Paris is that it's quite like wavy. No, like there are hills in the city, so basically you can't really see it from everywhere. So obviously when you are in Paris and you come to places like this that are beautiful, there is no other way to describe it, you might be wondering, like, why would anyone get disappointed by a place like this? The thing about Paris for me is that it's a great city to visit, but not necessarily to live. I think visiting Paris is just easier because you're on holiday, you're hanging out, you're enjoying the good parts of the city, and you don't have to deal with the bad parts of the city. So the first reason why people might get a little disappointed with Paris is that it's simply ugly. As you can see in the back, whoever designed the city didn't do a very good job. That was obviously just a funny joke. But as I'm sitting here in one of the most beautiful places in Paris with one of the most beautiful buildings in the background, let me tell you why people get disappointed with Paris. 2 main things for me are prices, and with that goes living conditions, rent, extremely high rent, and 2, safety. Living in Paris is expensive, and when I lived here, I lived in a tiny place, and I paid so much for it. And knowing that you're paying so much money in rent and what you're getting in return is just really low quality standard of living, it's painful. And everything here is expensive, you know, groceries expensive, metro, public transportation, going out to restaurant. Yes, there are freaking incredible restaurants in Paris. There's everything in Paris, right? Like in Paris, it's a city where you have access to everything you desire. But everything comes with a price, which of course is the case everywhere else in the world as well, in all other big popular cities. It's the same case with New York, whatever, London, right? But coming here from Shanghai, so we moved to Paris from Shanghai, which, as you guys know, I loved. I freaking loved Shanghai. I did not want to leave. There was this big contrast. Our life really decreased, like the quality of our life really decreased. The second thing that I dislike about Paris is safety. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Paris is the most dangerous city out there and as soon as you come here something will happen to you, because that is obviously not the case. And you also have to consider that your understanding of what is safe and not depends on where you come from. I grew up in Denmark, in Copenhagen, which is relatively a very safe place. So coming to Paris and, you know, being concerned about taking metro by yourself late at night, or simply experiencing a couple of not very nice things. A couple of my friends lost their phones as soon as we moved here. A friend of mine was attacked. When things like that happen, obviously it does affect your life and your experience with that place, right? Fun fact about Louvre is that it's almost 1 kilometer long. It's about 900 meters. And also there are so many pieces of art inside that if you would want to spend 30 seconds watching each piece of art, it would take you 5 months. How crazy is that, right? So police in Paris actually use a Seine to get around the city. I mean, as you can imagine, traffic here is pretty bad. So when they need to get from one place to another, one way to do it is by speedboat on the river. And right now I'm gonna do my personal favorite activity in Paris, walking by Seine. Seine is just one of the best places in the city for a walk. You can basically walk all across the city by the river. And I mean, at this time of the day, as you can see behind me, it's pretty calm here compared to where we just came from. There are not that many people. In the evenings, there are quite a lot of people in the summer when it's warm, sitting here having picnic. So what can you do to avoid getting disappointed with Paris? I guess the #1 thing that you should do is just accept the fact that Paris is a big, noisy, sometimes stinky, breathing, living city. And as any city on earth, it has both good and bad sides. It's a huge city. The population with suburbs is almost like 10 million people, which means that a lot of shit happens in this city. You know, it's not all romance and picnic by Eiffel Tower. It's just normal life, which doesn't mean that Paris is not great. It doesn't mean that Paris is not beautiful. It is, as you can see, but it's no Disneyland. I guess that's the thing, you know. I think partly social media is part of the problem, and those people on social media. On social media, we see these beautiful pictures with Eiffel Tower in the background, and we forget that there's just much more behind it, you know? My point is that Paris syndrome is very much real, but once you accept Paris for what it actually is, a big city with many flaws, you will of course love it here. I mean, there's no other place like Paris. The beautiful streets, art scene, the culture, food. And once I got used to everything, I actually did really enjoy my time in Paris, and now I absolutely love coming back as often as I can. Would I want to live in Paris again? Right now, probably not, but I guess that's also a very personal thing. And I do believe that at the end of the day, if Paris is something you dream of, you should definitely give it a chance. One last stop before I go to check in is a supermarket. I'm getting myself some juice because I'm really dehydrated. I will also get myself some water. I know juice is not what you drink when you're dehydrated. Anyways, what I wanted to say is that something that I really missed about Paris is supermarkets. I know it might sound weird, but okay. This is the reason why I missed French supermarkets. Like, is this heaven? Or in case you cannot see, it's like a fridge full of cheese, and cheese here is actually really good. I mean, no surprise, but I'm just confirming what everyone knows basically. So the game plan for right now is going back to my hotel to see if I can already check in, because earlier it was too early to check in. And then later I'm planning to go to what is probably my favorite area of Paris. If I would ever get a chance to live in Paris again, that's probably where I would try to live. So I did check in. This is what the room looks like. It's very yellow. I'm only staying here for one night though, and from tomorrow I'll be staying with my friend Maria. I decided to stay in this place because I really wanted to stay somewhere close to where I used to live in Paris. So for the first half of my stay in Paris, I used to live in 17th, which is a bit too far from the center to stay when you're only visiting for a couple of days, according to me. So I am staying in the 8th district, which is a little closer to the city center. And I wanted to stay here because tomorrow on my birthday, I want to start the day on a good note and go for a run.
Sweetheart, do you wanna be my Marie?
And little tip is that if you're looking for a nice viewpoint to see Paris from above, according to me, the best viewpoint is up there on Arc de Triomphe. Basilique Sacré-Cœur is a nice one as well. I wouldn't waste your time on Eiffel Tower unless you just really want to do Eiffel Tower. One of my favorite memories from Paris is this one day I went running really late, around 10, and they would close the parks at 10. So I couldn't run in the park where I would always run. So I ended up running here, and that's how I literally realized that I lived like 15 minutes from Arc de Triomphe. And I got so excited about it that I ended up running all the way down to Seine and then to Eiffel Tower. And it was just like one of these, you know, this trend on TikTok, moments when life doesn't feel real. Like that was the moment. It was one of these moments where, you know, I was running, so obviously all these endorphins are making you happy, and Eiffel Tower started to sparkle. And the thing is, when I lived in Paris, I wouldn't see Eiffel Tower that often because, I mean, as I said, when you live here, you have normal life. You go to school or work, like you don't just sit around and hang out by the Eiffel Tower. And also I lived kind of far away, so anyways, the point is that the Eiffel Tower started to sparkle, and I was like, oh my god, what is life? I live in Paris and it's so beautiful. From now on, I will be doing it frequently. And as it often goes in life, I've never done it again. So my whole plan for this trip is to do it tomorrow again, to repeat that successful run. Also, see what I was talking about when I said that I really like 16th. This is a very empty street, Paris standard, and we're only like 300 meters from Arc de Triomphe and maybe 500 meters from Eiffel Tower, and yet there are not that many people here. So I ordered a bit of a weird meal. Not weird according to me. I ordered mozzarella and a Coke. When I'm in France, all I want to eat is cheese, and I already had goat cheese this morning, so now it's time for a different kind of cheese. I know mozzarella is Italian, so it doesn't really make sense, but it's a cheese. So the food was great, but one thing that I remember that I do not enjoy about Paris is the attitude. I wanted to change tables and they were not happy with me. But I guess the thing is that they're just tired of tourists like me, especially tourists who are being problematic and you know, come up with ideas to change tables. I mean, I can understand that when you live in a city that is so touristy like Paris, and when you have so many people coming constantly, you do get tired of it. You know how people say that Parisians are known for being rude? I don't think it's necessarily true in like everyday life, you know, when you just meet people that are originally from Paris, like they're, you know, normal people, they're nice people, and then they're rude people. But when you go to restaurants and that type of places, you do meet people who tend to have a little bit attitude, I guess. Something that I absolutely love about Paris is that whole culture of just going outside, sitting on the street, just getting a glass of wine and being outside. So I wanted to wait for Eiffel Tower to sparkle because, well, it is really nice and I wanted to film it, but I cannot be bothered to wait that long. It's 8 p.m. and now it sparkles at like full hours. So I think in winter it actually starts at 8 p.m. It did not sparkle now. I guess that's because it's still too light. As you can hear, I am getting tired, so I am gonna slowly head back. It will be like an hour walk, so you know. I feel like I haven't really done anything today, but at the same time I'm exhausted. I mean, walking is exhausting, and I think I walked definitely more than 10 kilometers. Maybe not, I don't know, I haven't checked. But I think the reason why I feel so tired beside walking 10 kilometers is the fact that Paris is such an intense city. There's just always so much going on around you, and I feel like since there are so many people and so many cars and so much noise, your mind is sort of like forced to constantly work to process everything going on. Since I will be staying in Paris for 3 more days, there are 2 more videos coming. Tomorrow it's my birthday and I will be filming a video about everything that I am eating in a day. I'll show you my favorite French dishes and in general some nice things to eat here in Paris. I hope you enjoyed hanging out in Paris with me today and I hopefully see you soon.